Hello everybody, here is your playlist video for August 2018, starting off with Dead Cells. You know, this one has been described as a Metroidvania, but it really stretches the definition, because sure, it has power-ups that let you explore more of the world, but it's also a roguelike. You know, you have permadeath and the world is randomly generated when you respawn. And that last bit means you can't learn the level, remember obstacles, and backtrack to old places. You know, kind of the whole point of a Metroidvania. But then again, I did make a whole video about how genres are creatively restrictive, and so I guess I'll hold my tongue on this one and just take it for what it is. So Dead Cells has two really good things going for it. One is the feel of the combat. It's incredibly crunchy, and it feels great to rip through enemies. This is down to some great animation, loads of ridiculous particle effects, responsive controls, and more juicy stuff like that. It also puts the Dark Souls combat into fast forward, giving you dodge rolls and whatnot, without that slow, plodding feel of Dark Souls. The other good thing is the thrill of building an item set that basically just breaks the game. If, through exploration or money spending, you find yourself with a grenade that freezes enemies and a sword that does double damage to frozen enemies, you're gonna basically be able to kill every enemy with a couple hits, and it feels amazing, until the game gets harder, and you fail, and you have to try something else. The only thing I don't like about Dead Cells, and this is something that a lot of people do like, is that the game has permanent upgrades for things like better weapons, more health vials, and cooler mutations, which means every unsuccessful run gives you a better chance of winning next time, leading to an absolutely addictive, but arguably quite hollow and grindy positive feedback loop of constantly getting stronger. Personally, I prefer pure roguelikes where only my brain is getting better, like Spelunky. But from chatting to people online, maybe that's just me. A lot of people like to feel like they're always making progress, no matter how bad they do. Let me know your thoughts. Next up is Guacamelee 2, which I feel might be even less of a Metroidvania than the first game. It's hard to remember exactly, but both of these games have certain trappings of the genre, like upgrades and obstacles and an interconnected world map, but they don't fully commit to the idea, as they're much more linear and they always tell you exactly where to go. But that's okay, because what Guacamelee 2 lacks in Metroidvania-ness, it makes up for in excellent platforming and pretty good combat. So, platforming. What this game does wonderfully well is come up with loads of different level design ideas. There are walls that exist in different dimensions, moving platforms, mid-air hooks you can bounce yourself off, colour-coded blocks, stuff like that. And it teaches them to you really nicely, nice and slow, before chucking a whole bunch of them at you in one go in a rapid, quick-fire gauntlet. And you know when you're playing Guitar Hero and you're just hitting notes in a repetitive, easy way, before it suddenly throws a manic guitar solo at you and you just have to jam your fingers like mad to hit all the notes, and you're like, how am I even doing this? My fingers are moving faster than my brain. That's the feeling Guacamelee 2 nails in its platforming challenges, when it's at its best, and it feels great. The combat is also pretty good, but I mean it can become quite repetitive after a while, and I'm still not crazy about the humour in these games. The memes and references and whatnot have been toned down, but they're still there, and about 80% of them make me cringe. And I guess the biggest ding against the game is that it's awfully similar to the first Guacamelee. Like, you could put two screenshots side by side and struggle to figure out which is which. It's probably that last thing that's meant this game seems to be really under the radar. I'm having a blast with it, but it's not exactly sparking up the Twitterverse like Dead Cells or what have you. And that's a shame. So don't sit on this game, go check it out. You know that thing in Breakout where a ball gets trapped to the top of the screen and pings around violently, smashing blocks like crazy? Hold Down is a mobile game that's all about that wonderful feeling. So you shoot balls into a maze of blocks and hope they get trapped in a tiny gap and bounce back and forward until all the blocks are smushed up. It's a real treat of game feel and juice, and, like Peggle, shows how satisfying such a simple mechanic can be. You also get to learn some subtle techniques which are just natural outcomes of the mechanics, and they feel great. To give this game a bit of structure, the devs went for the grindy approach. You start with a small wallet, only a few balls, only a few shots, stuff like that. Then, as you make more cash, you can boost these things. And, you know, like Dead Cells before, it is quite addictive. I mean, I played it for non-stop for like a good few hours one day. But it's also a bit annoying when you have to repeat old levels just to get enough currency to actually make you capable of beating later levels. I mean, basically, it's got the structure of a free-to-play game, but it just doesn't have any microtransactions, so I guess it's okay. I don't know. It's something to think about. Anyway, that's 3 games for you. I've been enjoying all of them, and I will see you again at the end of September with some more indie recommendations. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I love you. What? Who said that? Goodbye.